Hey everybody, I just wanted to showcase the deck that I made with the help of my friend Yumi. Um, Everything here in this deck list is pretty much set in stone aside from Leaf. I'll show a couple of variations that are doing pretty well right now, but this deck is a huge contender. So coming up with the first variation, this one has one Leaf and it's pretty solid. The second one has Jirachi in case of sleep negation, but we're gonna hop right into game one. Um, just starting off very fast. Get the big Igglybuff. He gets the heal right away. I've actually not watched this myself, so this is my first time watching the recap of everything. Granted, it was me here in grand finals, but they're trying to decide where to put this energy. But yeah, I just really wanted to showcase this deck because this was few days of the set coming out and it was able to take everybody by storm. And if you're not ready for it, like building your ogre pawn and now everybody is super afraid of this deck, is literally turned the entire meta up on its head. Um, See, we have Lady right there because they're specifically prepping for this deck. So this is the huge deck to watch out for. And honestly, I get it. I get it because this deck, turn one, you can do 50 damage. It can escalate from there. And you still have late game pressure with the Mega Altaria. But overall, I am very happy with how this deck performed for me. Funnily enough, quick story. I missed round one of this tournament because I was just asleep. I usually don't enter these tournaments because it's pretty early for me. Um, Not time zone wise, I just wake up late. But this time I was like, huh, I'm feeling it. I'm feeling pretty good about this Igglybuff deck. And I quite literally just copied my teammate, but they really constructed a really good deck. We ran something similar the night prior. But anyways, back onto the match. I don't think that they have this Mega Altaria, or I clutch it. But as you can see from the deck list as well, we have two very, very similar lists. They're on the one leaf and training area. Training area is really good for this deck because it opens up Mega Altaria to one-shot Suicune. There's a lot of applications for that, but if you open up Darkrai and you don't see that leaf, that's just the one downside. Honestly, this deck still is in huge contention for just topping everything. It still is doing a lot of work. This deck, um, this tournament rather, was about a week ago, last weekend, and even tournaments now, it's still making waves. So I'd suggest giving this deck a try if you have them. Not too hard to construct. It seems I'm in a very good position at the moment, and they're just thinking, man, I guess I go for this Swablu sleep, see what happens, right? Sifting through their cards, they throw out the Mars. I go to one, sure. They throw out the Mega Altaria. Ah, yes, okay. So this one, I was actually just like lucky because they only had one on the bench, so they're only able to do 70 damage to me. So now I can just freely retreat, get a sleep, and get the secure KO. But yeah, as you can see, they have the Mars. The Mars did a lot of damage, but I already have pretty much everything set up. I just throw out the Sabrina in case they potentially copycat, which they do have one of. I don't want them to have any bench available in case I get my Mega Altaria. I don't want them to have anything going, but they get the Oak anyways. They draw two. They put the double Igglybuff out, so they have a full bench. So the one thing that I was trying to avoid, it still happens anyways. but we still get big sleeps, get very lucky that they flip tails. But that should be game 1, looking pretty hot. They didn't get a single point in. But just a fair warning, this second game is the main reason why a lot of people don't want to run it, because if other people are running it, you'll see in a moment here. I'm actually going to do you guys the service of just kind of skipping through everything. We're going to speed this up. Let me get the gears going. That's the intro. We're going to pause right here because this is the most disgusting thing that you'll see in a bit. We're going to speed it up. There it is, Darkrai, turn 1. That's it. Yep, and that's the downside if everybody's running it. But if multiple people, very few select people are running this, you're overall going to have a good time. Especially with ranked coming up. I don't think people are going to be running the Ogerpon. I don't think people are going to be running as much anti-Igglybuff hate, aside from the Pokemon Center lady. That's the one thing that sort of changed everything. But getting into game 3, I have a good lead. They wake up, so they can probably put me to sleep. I think they actually do take out this Igglybuff. Throwing out the leaf. And that's the other good part about having the double leaf, is that if you start with anything, you can reserve that energy. You can keep your Swablu safe, have the energy ready for the very next turn to bring out your Mega Altaria if you do draw it. And it can also help in just lowering down your hand. Copycats are still everywhere in this meta. So if you want to throw out the leaf just to reduce your hand size, that's also a good option. And I get the Oak into Pokeball, double Darkrai, big boy damage. And even though they had that cape, they're still completely gone. So they throw in the Mega Altaria. Very risky stuff, but they just have to. They absolutely have to. Gonna swing on to my Igglybuff. They have a meaty 210 damage. And at this point, I am honestly just praying to get my own Mega Altaria to knock them out. Don't remember exactly how this pans out. But I do have 3 sleepers on the board. Have a good amount of opportunity. I do have the Licia, so I get the Swablu up. I have a hefty hand. Gonna get the sleep off with the full 50 damage. And they stay asleep. That is massive, because the next turn, this very next turn, they're going to take 50 more damage for being asleep, putting them at 110, putting them in range of Mega Altaria. So this could be it. That's the double hit, 40 damage instead of 50, I mean. They wake up, they're at 120, and this is it. That's it. That's it, y'all. That is the showcase of this deck. Very strong, very potent. A little bit luck involved, but you can get a godlike turn 1. And I was very excited for this performance, but definitely give it a shot. Thank you so much for watching. This is Decklist once again, and peace.